If you bought a truck in the last 3 years, there's a decent chance it's lost more value sitting in your driveway than your buddy's boat lost sitting in his. And that's saying something, because boats are basically money bonfires with cup holders. I spent the last week buried in depreciation data from IC Cars, Car Edge, Kelley Blue Book, and Edmunds. I pulled recall databases. I read owner forms until my eyes glazed over. And what I found is that 10 trucks on the market right now are bleeding money at a rate that should genuinely concern anyone who owns one or is thinking about buying one. We're talking losses of $20,000, $40,000, even $76,000 on trucks that are barely a couple years old. So here are 10 trucks that are now essentially worthless in 2026, ranked from bad to catastrophic, with the actual dollar amounts to prove it. Number 10, the Jeep Gladiator. On paper, the Gladiator's 35.6% depreciation and roughly $13,500 lost over 5 years doesn't look that bad. But the Gladiator has a problem that no depreciation number can fully capture, and it has a name that sounds like it came straight out of a horror movie. They call it the death wobble. At highway speeds, the steering wheel starts shaking violently and uncontrollably. Over 170 owners filed NHTSA complaints for the 2020 model year alone, and it triggered a class action settlement that extended warranty coverage on the front steering damper. But here's the thing. Owners report the wobble often comes back after the fix. Front-end steering overhauls run anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000 out of pocket. J.D. Power rates the entire Jeep brand at 272 problems per 100 vehicles, making it the third worst brand in the entire industry. And with Jeep dealer inventory sitting at 114 to 130 days supply, well above the 76-day industry average, the pricing pressure on used Gladiators is only going to get worse. I personally think the Gladiator is the most frustrating truck on this list because the concept is genuinely cool. A Wrangler with a bed? And sign me up. But the execution has been a reliability nightmare. Number 9, the Chevrolet Silverado 1500. The Silverado sits at 41.5% depreciation, losing about $15,300 over 5 years. Pretty average for a full-size truck. But that number is about to get a whole lot worse, and the reason is one of the largest engine recalls in recent memory. In April 2025, GM recalled 597,630 Silverados and Sierra 1500S, equipped with the 6.2-liter V8 for manufacturing defects in the connecting rods and crankshafts that cause complete engine failure. GM documented over 28,000 field reports, more than 14,000 cases of the truck just losing power, 12 crashes, and 42 fire incidents. A stop sale order was issued, and GM's fix? They want technicians to inspect the engine, and if it passes, switch from 0W20 to 0W40 oil. That's it. Owners are furious, and multiple lemon lawsuits are already in motion. The older 5.3-liter V8 isn't exactly bulletproof either. It suffers from AFM and DFM lifter collapse, a repair that runs $3,000 to $5,000. When I was researching this video, I kept finding forum posts from Silverado owners who loved their trucks right up until the engine grenaded at 40,000 miles. That pattern was hard to ignore, but this next one is the one that honestly surprised me the most. Number 8, the Ford F-150. I know, America's best-selling vehicle, the truck that's been number 1 for over 4 decades. And it's on this list because the F-150 loses between 43 and 51% of its value over 5 years, depending on which data source you trust. That's a loss of $16,000 to over $31,000. The problem is simple math. Ford sells so many F-150S that the used market is absolutely flooded with them. As of mid-2025, over 116,000 F-150S were sitting on dealer lots, taking an average of 115 days to sell. That's one of the slowest moving trucks in the entire market, and reliability hasn't helped. The F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid earned a score of just 7 out of 100 from Consumer Reports. 7 out of 100. Ford issued approximately 150 recalls in 2025, more than any other automaker, including 355,000 trucks recalled for blank instrument panel displays. Now, credit where it's due. The standard gas F-150 actually won Consumer Reports' 2026 top pick for best full-size pickup, so the base truck is solid. It's the value retention and the sheer volume of used inventory that kills you on resale. Number 7. The Ram 1500. The Ram loses between 42 and 48% of its value over 5 years. The older classic trim, which is the previous generation kept on sale as a budget option, depreciates even faster at 48.1%. But depreciation's only part of the Ram story. Consumer Reports ranks the Ram 1500 dead last among full-size trucks for 2026 reliability, flagging problems with in-car electronics, the battery, and display screens. The e-Torque mild hybrid system has a class action lawsuit for unexpected engine stalling at highway speeds, and 131,700 trucks were recalled for that defect. Then there's the Stellantis situation. Ram's parent company has been in freefall. 6 consecutive years of U.S. sales declines, CEO resignation, and dealer lots sitting at 107 to 130 days supply of inventory. Dealers are offering up to $13,250 in cash rebates on new 2026 Ram. 1,500 S and 0% APR for 72 months on leftover 2025 models. Every dollar of those incentives on new trucks erodes the floor under used Ram values. If you're looking at a used Ram right now, wait. Prices have further to fall. Number 6. The Nissan Titan. The worst depreciating gas-powered truck in America, losing 48.1% of its value over 5 years. And the reason is simple. Nissan killed it. The Titan was officially discontinued after the 2024 model year. It never captured more than 2% of the full-size pickup market, and now that Nissan has pulled the plug, there's zero manufacturer investment in the nameplate's future. There won't be updates, there won't be marketing pushes, and dealers have zero enthusiasm left for the nameplate. It's a truck that will slowly fade from service networks and parts availability. The Titan XD is even worse in raw dollar terms, losing over $25,000 over 5 years. At 10 years old, the Titan retains barely a third of its original value. Here's what's interesting, though. J.D. Power actually gave the 2024 Titan an 88 out of 100 reliability score. The truck is actually solid mechanically, but commercially it's dead on arrival, and the market prices dead trucks accordingly. Now, everything I've shown you so far, that's the gas-powered side. And honestly, it gets so much worse from here. Because electric trucks are depreciating at a pace that makes the Titan look like a Toyota Tacoma. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. We break down truck data like this every single week on Truck Verdict. Number 5. The Rivian R1T. The R1T loses 54.5% of its value over 5 years, dropping from roughly $71,000 new to a projected residual of about $32,000. But the Rivian tells a more nuanced story than the other EVs on this list. 3-year depreciation sits at a more moderate 32%, and there's a genuine Tesla defector demand wave that's propped up used R1T prices in the mid-50,000s. Owners love these trucks, and brand loyalty is real, but Consumer Reports named Rivian the least reliable car manufacturer of 2025, citing exterior build quality, electrical systems, and locking mechanisms. At least 6 recalls per model year from 2022 through 2025, including over 27,000 vehicles for defective front turn signals and 24,000 for highway assist software failures. And the upcoming R2 model, which will be significantly cheaper, is going to put serious downward pressure on used R1T values. That's the hidden threat Rivian owners aren't talking about yet. Number 4. The Ford F-150 Lightning. This one stings. The Lightning loses 56% of its value, roughly $41,500. CarEdge shows it, shedding 35.7% in the first year alone. There are 2022 Platinum models on the Lightning forums that originally cost around $90,000 and are now worth approximately $40,000. That's a $50,000 loss in about 3 years. The damage was largely self-inflicted. Ford slashed the base MSRP by roughly $10,000 mid-cycle, which instantly vaporized equity for every early adopter. Sales dropped 16.7% year over year, And in late 2025, the Wall Street Journal reported that Ford is considering canceling the Lightning nameplate entirely. Over 104,000 Lightnings have been recalled for rollaway risk due to park module failures. Another 29,500 were recalled for improperly torqued suspension ball joints. When the manufacturer might abandon the product, that's not depreciation anymore. That's an exit strategy. Number 3, the GMC Hummer EV. This is my personal favorite disaster on the list, and I mean that with full respect to anyone who bought one. The Hummer EV Edition 1 had an MSRP of $110,295. At peak speculator frenzy, these things were reselling for up to $275,000 on the secondary market. People were treating them like rare sneakers. Today, those same trucks sell for as low as $65,000, a 41% loss from sticker, and a catastrophic loss for anyone who paid above MSRP. The Hummer EV weighs over 9,000 pounds, gets terrible efficiency, costs roughly $3,282 a year to insure, and has 5 NHTSA recalls covering battery pack water intrusion and drive unit failures. The used buyer pool for a 9,000-pound electric truck with limited range and sky-high running costs is predictably very small. KBB data shows the 2023 model lost 38% in just 2 years. That's nearly $40,000 vanishing from a truck that was supposed to be GM's flagship electric statement. Number 2, the Tesla Cybertruck. I debated putting this one at number 1. The raw numbers are staggering. IC Cars project 60% 5-year depreciation. Average used listings dropped from $168,000 down to $84,000 in a single year. One Foundation Series owner watched $76,500 in value disappear after driving just 4,600 miles. Tesla slashed new pricing from around $100,000 down to $75,000 for the base model, which destroyed resale for everyone who bought early. The Cybertruck was recalled 10 separate times in its first model year for everything from panels detaching at highway speed to stuck accelerator pedals. Sales fell 7.3% in 2025, with Q2 dropping over 50%. And then there's the politics. Anti-Musk sentiment has measurably shrunk the buyer pool. When your brand becomes a political statement, your resale value becomes a hostage. But the Cybertruck is not the worst truck on this list for value loss. That title belongs to something even more shocking. Number 1, the Chevrolet Silverado EV, the single worst depreciating truck in America. 61% value loss over 5 years. Over $50,000 gone. The Silverado EV sheds nearly half its value in the first year alone, dropping from an average new price of roughly $82,800 to the low 50s. KBB projects a 5-year residual of just $28,457. That means if you bought one new, you could lose more than the entire price of a decent used Tacoma just in depreciation. And here's what makes this even wilder. Consumer Reports actually rates the Silverado EV as the most reliable electric truck on the market. It's not failing because it's a bad product. It's failing because GM priced it too high, the EV truck market is too small, and new model year price cuts keep pulling the floor out from underused values. GM is currently offering 0% APR for 60 months on new Silverado EVs, which tells you everything you need to know about demand. So what do these 10 trucks have in common? 3 forces are crushing truck values right now. First, massive overproduction and dealer inventory bloat. Ram sitting at 130 days supply. Ford had over 116,000 F. 150s gathering dust. Second, EV-specific headwinds. From manufacturer price cuts to the expiration of the $7,500 federal tax credit in September 2025. And third, truck affordability has hit a wall. The average new truck now costs over $66,000, and truck prices have risen 53% since 2014, while blue-collar wages grew only 38%. The math just doesn't work anymore. Before you buy any truck, check the depreciation data on IC Cars and CarEdge. A 5-minute search could save you $20,000. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.